Okay, here comes Daniel. Hello.
Hello. Hello, Jack.
You alright?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm not bad, I'm not bad. So, what's up?
I was just wondering, what are you most looking forward to about new series?
Um, well, probably Peter Capaldi overall, but,
Mm.
obviously him, but, I'm looking forward to the Dalek story. Uh, that's, pretty big. But I'm always excited when it's a new Doctor, because I just love how, like, they tackle, like, the post-regeneration period, and,
Mm.
yeah.
So I think it was either yesterday or Sunday. The Dalek episode got leaked.
Oh yes, yes it did. I saw someone on Facebook. I can't remember who, but someone was like posting it and then like saying,
Uh,
"Oh, it's really good. Watch it." But other people say, "No, no, I want to wait till August to watch it," and blah blah blah. But yeah, I heard it's pretty good. I heard it's like the best Dalek story since Passing of the Ways.
ooh.
So that'll be good because I feel the Daleks have been rubbish since the Stolen Earth and Journey's End.
Yes,
Personally,
they haven't shot anyone since 2010. You
wow.
showed the Time War and didn't kill anyone.
Oh my god. They shot the doctor in so that was the last time they shot the doctor in
Big Bang.
Bing Bang, that's the one. Yeah. But he didn't actually
Right.
die as such, so he pretended to die.
I was like, I know episode 4 I'm looking forward to, but annoyingly I got the ending spoiled for me,
Episode
which
4.
is, yeah, I think it's gonna annoy a lot of Doctor Who fans. I'm not gonna ruin it for everyone,
What
but
happened? I don't know the ending, but what happens in episode 4? Like, what's the
it's
sort?
basically, why do you talk to yourself when you're alone? The answer is because you're not alone.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you know who's written it?
It's Moffat.
I thought it would be. He's quite good at writing those sort of stories.
Oh, oh, the ending. It's a retcon that's really gonna annoy most people.
I look forward to it. I can't wait. What I'm pleased about the most is it's a straight run of 12 episodes and then the Christmas
Yeah,
special.
it's quite nice.
Gonna really get into it. So
Mm.
yeah, no, I'll be looking forward to that. Definitely.
I mean, this isn't really a spoiler because it's been sort of been, you know,
Yeah.
but I think in episode 5, which is set in a bank, there's this machine which registers your guilt to see if you've committed a crime.
Wow. Sounds a
Yeah.
bit weird. Oh, fair enough. Sounds different. Um, yeah, no, I'm definitely looking. I'm a bit disappointed about the Cybermen like in the finale. I'm not disappointed that they're there. It's just like I've never really liked Cyberman like centric stories. Like I like, but at the same time, I don't like how they've been like just like tiny side characters recently. I think they need a major part in the thing, but I don't like the stories that are like focused on the Cybermen. I don't know why. It's just a
What
thing.
thing I'm nervous about is, it's set on Earth. Aren't they gonna have to blow up the planet to get rid of them?
I heard, I heard that it's got something to do with Gallifrey in the finale.
Oh,
Um, I can't really say it's a spoiler because I haven't seen any like solid evidence. I just
no.
heard that it might have something to do with Gallifrey.
There's a big rumour the Master's gonna be in it.
Yeah, the Master is the biggest thing I like to talk about because I remember it was highly rumored that he'd be in Series 8, and then just recently Moffat said that he feels that the Master story is done when he
Yeah, but
managed to like keep River Song going for like 5 years. But then Moffat lies, so he either means he's serious and we're not going to see him again until a new head writer takes over, or he's going to be in Series 8 or maybe Series 9. Maybe he's writing his story at the moment for Series 9.
oh, because he did say end of season nine's got a massive
Yeah, he
cliffhanger.
says he's worked out the uh, cliffhanger for episode 12, and apparently we're not going to see it coming. So maybe it's something like the Master's gone into a strange body again or something, and then we're suddenly revealed that this guy that's been like with the Doctor or something is the Master, and we're like, you what?
It's Danny Pink.
I was about to say that. Maybe Danny Pink is the master. I would not be surprised. But imagine how weird that'd be. Not only would it be shocking, it would be sad at the same time that this character we've known for like 2 years is suddenly evil. Like, I think if it's that, we should look back at this and like be, if the master's Danny Pink, that would be amazing.
Well, thing I'm intrigued about is the BBC said a few old enemies are coming back, like Dalek Cybermen. Then they put, and one that's been kept a closely guarded secret.
Yeah, I saw that. Now, I initially thought that was Davros, maybe. But
well, we know the voice in the trailer isn't Davros.
Yeah, that was really disappointing. The thing with Davros, yeah. I think if Moffat ever brings back Davros, they won't make a big thing of it. I think it won't like be a finale or anything. It will just be a Dalek episode that Davros pops up again. Yeah. I don't think Moffat likes to make massive like OMG moments like Russell T Davies did.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's like how he said, he's going to explain this series how Peter Capaldi is also in the Fires of Pompeii and stuff. But he said he don't expect like a big plot about it. Just like look out for it being like explained.
My theory about that is when Clara jumped into his time stream and she got splintered up, what happens if that happened to the Doctor?
Yeah.
Which would explain why it's another version of him.
Sort of makes sense, but at the same time, I like the theory that each Doctor is taken from someone he's met on his travels, whether he's aware of it or not.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I like that theory because that would also explain the Curator.
And the Colin Baker one.
Yeah, isn't that Arc of Infinity or something? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But no, like, the Curator would make sense because I personally, I don't know if they'll ever explain the Curator, and in some ways I don't think they have to. I think it was just necessary to have Tom Baker in the 50th. You could not have a 50th without Tom Baker in it somewhere.
Oh, my friend went to the cinema to see Dare the Doctor, and there were two fangirls in front of her. And when Tom Baker came on, one of them was going, "Is that the new guy?" And the other one was going, "Who's that?"
Oh, God. As soon as I heard his voice, I'm like to my friend. I was in the cinema, and my friend was next to me. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's Tom Baker!" Because I'd heard the day before that he was coming back. He said
I hadn't. So
he said online, I think he's like,
right.
I'm gonna say right now, I am coming back, and the way I do it's crazy. But anyway, going back to the Curator, it would make sense that he is like when the Fourth Doctor came around, the Curator was younger, and that's why the Fourth Doctor looked younger. And maybe the Curator has been like not following, but like like researching the Doctor, and that's why he's got his scarf and then like I've heard also that a fan said, wouldn't it be cool if like the what's the name of the girl that wears the Tom Baker's scarf in the 50th?
Osgood.
Osgood. It's scarily like close to Oswin and Oswald. It creeps me out. But
Osgood's appearing in the finale, and she's wearing
bow tie
suit and bow tie.
Yeah, that's crazy. She's just a fan, I think. But it would have been really cool if when the Doctor said "nice scar," she said something like, "Oh, thanks, the Curator gave it to me," or something.
Oh yeah, that would have been quite good.
That would have been like, and then everybody would like, probably because most people would have just passed it off, like, "Oh well, yeah, it's the 50th," and then you see the Curator at the end, it'd be like, "Oh." But I also like how the Curator doesn't get his own like credit. He's just like Tom Baker's just there with the list of the Doctors.
Oh.
So I don't know. I think there is more to him, but at the same time, I don't think they need to explain him. He just needed to be in the 50th, and that is good enough for me.
I reckon because there's a line where he says you might find yourself revisiting a few.
I can see that.
Is he a future version of the Doctor?
Yeah, is he something like... I saw someone came up with the theory that maybe one day when the Doctor reaches the end of his regeneration cycle, which is going to be ages now, that he gets to choose like one face he wants to spend the rest of his life with, and he like chooses the Fourth Doctor. I heard that. But also that could be hinting at Peter Capaldi because he met Caecilius in Fires of Pompeii.
Oh yeah. I think this is canon, but because we had Romana's regeneration, if a Time Lord forces himself to regenerate out of no injury or death or whatever, they can choose what they look like. So that could be the reason why.
I hope there's more to the curator because he's mysterious. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I tell you what, I really would like to see followed up is who the woman was in End of Time.
I doubt that's ever going to be found
It's too
out.
long ago now.
Well, Russell did say it's meant to be the Doctor's mum, but
Yeah, I heard that. I also heard that it might be Romana or something. Or I don't know. I would like. It's the same with the curator. Like, if it doesn't get explained, it doesn't really bother me. But I would love to find out who it is.
it kind of does need to be explained because the whole crux of this story was based on that woman.
Yeah, that was like, oh my god moment when she like appeared at the end, like with the Time Lords. I'm like, oh, what? I think that eventually, when the Doctor does find Gallifrey, because it's going to happen sooner or later, I think that's when the Master will come back, because that's where he is at the moment. That's where we last saw him, and maybe that's the opportunity to explain who she is.
I didn't like the End of Time, but I was kind of glad Tennant left.
I remember talking to you. You don't really like Tennant, do you?
I don't like Tennant. But I don't want to go.
Oh my god, it's like Matt Smith's last speech is actually in some way it is so emotional. Like it was beautifully thought out, and then Tennant just stands there crying and says, "I don't want to go."
So you were the Doctor that would always go, "Put me in a place, sacrifice me." So when you actually had to sacrifice yourself, you couldn't do it.
No, I remember you pointed out to me once why you don't like Tennant, and then suddenly it made me start thinking about Tennant, and I agree.
Yeah.
He is really, he's different, but all Doctors are different. But in some ways, he's a bad different. I know what you mean.
He was okay with Donna. He was bearable, but then it just seemed every sentence when he was sad, he'd show his bottom teeth. When he was happy, he'd show his top teeth. It'd just go well all the time. It just got really annoying.
I definitely think Matt Smith's a better Doctor than Tennant.
I agree.
I think the two most underrated Doctors, in my opinion, are Christopher Eccleston and Paul McGann.
I'd say Colin Baker's underrated.
Colin Baker's my least favourite, but I don't hate him like lots of people do. Like, I think in some ways he's really good. But the thing that ruined him the most for me is his costume is just ridiculous.
Oh, I love it.
I think it's ridiculous. I
love it.
It really just makes me just I think, oh god, not this guy again.
I know the plan was, start him out all angry and all the time, then over time mellow him out. But because he got fired by Michael Grade, they could never do that. Which is, if you listen to the audios with him in, he's a lot calmer and a bit like the Fifth Doctor.
Yeah. I think the Fifth Doctor is one of the best Doctors.
My top three Doctors would be Troughton, Tom Baker, and Eccleston.
Who would you say if you had to pick a favourite?
Patrick Troughton.
Really? I've never seen any of his. Well, I've seen him in the Five Doctors, but apart from that, I've never seen any of his stories.
Oh, watch Tomb of the Cybermen.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Weather Fear's a good one as well.
Yeah. I've got to say, the adventure I watched recently, and I was really surprised by how much I liked it, was Castrovalva.
Oh, I like Castrovalva.
I really like Castrovalva, and it's very similar. I noticed that his the foreshadowing of Tom Baker's regeneration was quite similar to David Tennant's in some ways. Like the Watcher was a bit like Ood Sigma, like.
It has been compared the bit where in Legopolis where the Doctor sees the Watcher on the bridge.
Yeah, he goes and talks. It's like when the astronaut.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He points something out with his hand, then he bows his head. I think that's one of the Tom Baker's best, in my opinion. I just really love that story.
I quite like Deadly Assassin.
I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it.
It's a really bizarre story when he goes into Matrix, but it's quite dark as well.
I feel really sad when Tom Baker, because in in the classics, they didn't really make such a big thing out of regeneration. I think it was because Doctor Who was on most of the year, pretty much. So it was just like a complete continuation. So I think like these days, like for example, David Tennant's regeneration was like first hinted at in like um, Planet of the Dead. Is that what it's called?
No, it was. I think it was Planet Viewed.
Oh yeah, no, it was Planet of the Ood. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
it. He was like, "Your song is ending" or something. That was like 2 years.
2008.
Yeah, it was crazy. Oh, and then
Matt Smith's death's been referenced
the
since.
first like proper one was um at the fall of the 11th, which was Dorian in when he
Yeah,
was at the. I knew that was coming because I just thought out of like putting two and two together when I was worked out that David Tennant's first reference was 2 years before he left, and then I worked out with Matt Smith that it must be 2011 if he is actually leaving in 2013, which was rumored at the time.
what I think they should have done was disregarded 10 second regeneration, even though it is technically one, and then Matt Smith would have turned into Capaldi.
Yeah,
Capaldi would have been the last Doctor, and you can play with his mortality, and he might not go back to save that person because he's scared of dying, and that would suit his Doctor if he's a lot more darker.
I was very disappointed when they counted that regeneration as one because I love the idea of John Hurt being in there. It drives me crazy when people still refuse to like accept him as a Doctor. Not fans so much, but like when you see like artwork or like a Doctor Who merchandise that says all the Doctors on it, and then it just doesn't have him there. Like, but
No,
I
I hate
don't.
people going, oh, he's the ninth Doctor.
Oh my god, it's so annoying. But what really drives me insane when like there are two David Tennants. It's just like no, that I wish they'd left it. Like I think Moffat just wanted to hurry up and explain it, and it really was a boring way to resolve it. Because I remember everyone thought, oh, they probably just won't care about the 12 regeneration limit, but they remembered, and then everyone knew it. Like the Master's been given a regeneration cycle. It's just like everyone knew that was how they were going to do it. I was hoping they were going to do something like River Song's regeneration she gave him in Let's Kill Hitler or something like that.
Yeah, that's quite nice. But I think another rumor was the Paul McGann regeneration. It gave him a new set, but
I think it was pretty obvious that it was going to have something to do with the Time Lords when
Time Lord.
Gallifrey was saved.
I would.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, I am slightly annoyed they've saved Gallifrey. I'm glad as well, but
I think
you've kind of ruined everything Russell did for the show.
apparently it was Christopher Eccleston's idea to get rid of the Time Lords, but I think it was a good after almost 10 years to maybe bring them back properly. But I think it would have been more effective if they hadn't had so many like possible Time Lord returns like in like the end of time and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it was good to bring them back, but they did it in a stupid way. But it was the only way that could have made sense. I think it sucks that Gallifrey had never gone because they altered time. Effectively, it never gone, but you couldn't do it any other way, really.
I think when the Time Lords obviously Daleks and Time Lords, but back in 2005 when they lost the rights to the Daleks for a short period of time, they came up with this alternative monster which was similar to the monster from the audio, the Holy Terror, and it would have been kind of this boy with he was a kind of demon child exorcist kind of person. So a Time War with lots of them would have been quite interesting to see.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, yeah, I wasn't aware that they lost rights to the Daleks.
It was only for about a week, and then they got a contract which was yes, you can use them, but you have to have them once a year, which is why we have them at the end of at the beginning of Wedding of River Song and that short scene in Waters of Mars.
Yeah, yeah, I was aware of that, but I only recently found that out actually. But so was this when they were like planning on like the Ninth Doctor's backstory, and they were worried they weren't going to get the Daleks, so they quickly made up like a.
As far as I understand it, it was they had them, they lost them from the Terry Nation estate, and then they got them back again. And
So
during about a couple of weeks where they lost it,
they
they
suddenly
came.
realised they had to make something up in case they didn't get them back, or they
Yeah,
weren't expecting to get them back.
which is why Dalek would have had that boy instead of the Dalek.
So if they hadn't got them back, the new series wouldn't have Daleks.
No.
To be fair, that wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing, because in some ways Daleks are only iconic because of the new series, like, making them iconic, if you get what I mean. They were always iconic, but if they hadn't been brought back, they would have been forgotten to a degree, especially by people who've never watched the classics.
Yeah, and if you ask loads of Doctor Who fans, most fans say I prefer the Cybermen. It's just the Daleks have survived due to iconicity, if that's an actual word. But
Daleks are definitely nowhere near my favourite monster,
no,
but I love them because of how, like, iconic they are. Yeah.
I actually prefer the Paradigm Daleks.
Whoa, man! What are you
Okay, yeah,
saying?
okay, I'll make my case.
They're
I
pure
don't
Daleks.
like the Victory of the Daleks versions. I prefer the metallic-y
The
versions from the
Metallics are a lot
Silent
better, but I'm so glad they brought back the Time War Daleks, because I never thought it would happen when everyone was asking for it, and it did, and I was so happy.
I was happy, but I was also annoyed because the reason the kind of black neck bit changed was so if they couldn't fit through a doorway, it would kind of squat down and they could go under, which I thought was a nice idea. And that back spine piece would open, and some new kind of mechanism or weapon would come out of it.
I think it's sad that I'm glad they didn't get rid of them, but I like the setup they got at the moment with the bronzes, like the drones and everything. But I think they had so much potential, but making them darker, bringing back the Time War Daleks as the main, like, soldiers, but I don't like how they've neglected the Paradigm Daleks. They had so much story potential, and they just
Well,
never got it.
we have to assume I'm going to assume that the Supreme Dalek still looks like a Paradigm one because of Asylum of the Daleks,
Yeah.
but other than that, we saw the odd strategist and a few drones. We'll never know what the Eternal actually means, and I doubt we're going to see a scientist.
It was such a perfect. I think if they hadn't put those giant bases on them, I think if they were shorter, I might have liked them more.
Well, I think the reason they made him taller was to line up with Matt Smith's face.
Yeah, because he was, like, taller than David Tennant. Yeah, I get that. Well, anyway, we've been going for 23 minutes, and there's still a couple of people that want to call. So
is this going to go on YouTube or?
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's cool. Yeah, it'll be up tomorrow. So
Okay.
you can watch it back if you really want to. Yeah, if you're still around later when I say, like, lines are open again, free for all, whatever, you're welcome to call back. But if you're not, it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Alright, thanks for calling.
That's alright. See you later.
See you, bro.